ॐ श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ श्री गुरवे
15th Sutra,
नमः।
which is दृष्टानु श्रविक विषय वितृष्णस्य वशीकार संज्ञा वैराग्यम. Okay. Now, दृष्टानु श्रविक विषय वितृष्णस्य वशीकार संज्ञा vairagyam. Now there are few things which have been discussed here, few words. Drishtanu Shravika Vishaya. We all know that our world is majorly, we have to deal with two things: the forms and names. We have to deal with the people who present are in front of us as forms, as happy form, as annoyed form, as aggressive form, as submissive form, respectful form, disgraceful form, and so on and so forth. These are the forms. And then their language. We have to deal with that. We are not worried with the chirping of birds, right? We are not rather perturbed by the barking of the dogs until unless we are doing some work where a lot of silence is needed. Otherwise, we pass by, we never bother what their bark means to us, right? And so on and so forth. The whole world is making noise. We are not worried, by the way. Those sounds don't matter, do they? So it may matter to environmentalists. They will say noise pollution is going high. Everybody should keep quiet, including elements, including animals, including machines, everything. You see, they should keep quiet because noise pollution is increasing. But is it really affecting your day-to-day in terms of your inner experience, in terms of your problems? No. Little noise or more noise. It is happy. If it is happy, this what we are here, if this is happy, rather we will make noise. You see, don't we cheer up, say ho ho ho, and also noises we make? So it does not mean that the happiness and noise, the joy and noise have any adverse relationship. They don't have. So you may be happy, joyous in a silence zone also, and you may be joyous and happy in the hustle and bustle also, right? But if it comes to the language spoken by people, there it becomes a problem. You see, whole day nobody spoke. It was complete silence in your home. Then somebody opens his mouth, speaks few words, and then shuts his mouth again. Now this can be problem for next 5 days, maybe for life. Yes or no? This sound created by human being is a problem. Dogs may have barked for half an hour continuously or whole day, they don't bother us. But these words, these sounds are problem for us. Shiv Sutra, if you have listened to properly, you know that this is where we get trapped. And this trap is of agyan, ignorance. And this is what is contained in these words. Jnanadhishtanam matrika. Shiva Sutra had also said that. Now Patanjali is saying you need to discard it. What you need to discard? Rupa, that is form, drishya, and shravika, what you hear. What does that mean? If I see things and discard them, if I hear things and I discard them, what does it mean? Can we really live like life Can we really live our life like that? Looking at things and discarding what it is, listening to words and discarding what it means. Not possible, is it not? But what it means is, first, vitrishna. Vitrishna means you don't need them, right? You don't have hunger for, you see. If I am not hungry, if I am not hungry, and I come to your home, I'm completely full up to the brim. I'm not hungry. Okay. I'm not hungry, I'm not thirsty. So, how does it matter whether you offer me bitter gourd juice or a very sweet drink? I reject both because I am full. I don't need it. Yes or no? And suppose I am thirsty and you offer me bitter gourd juice. It's a problem for me because now there is a dislike will definitely come into it, which means when I want something, when I'm not satiated, when I'm not full, when I want people to say good things to me, I'll definitely be having problems. Why? Because I am thirsty. I have trishna, I have thirst. Vitrishna means no thirst. If you say a word, it's okay. It comes, I simply observe it because I don't accept it. Understand? I don't accept it. It comes by, it gets registered, but it doesn't stir me. It doesn't create a ripple in me. Why? Because I'm full. I'm full of that sound which is enveloping me, full of that sound of my existence which is enveloping me. I don't need anything. Of course, the world will continue to run, you will continue to respond. But no matter what comes to you, you will not be able to completely disturb yourself in whatever you like because you don't need it. Right? Look at it. Suppose you want to see a person in a happy state. You want to see that person should become happy. He lives with you or she lives with you or you interact with that person on day-to-day basis and you want to see that happy demeanor. This is what is your desire now. You are thirsty of seeing a happy demeanor. Now this thirst will definitely become a problem if that happy demeanor is replaced by an angry demeanor. Yes or no? Which means what? If you have no desire, no thirst for so-called soothing words, soothing scenes with Krishna, then it is called Vairagya. Look at it. Vairagya, how it is being defined. Vairagya is defined like that I discard happy and angry demeanor both. Okay. Vairagya is I discard the good words of praise and abuses both. You see. And how can that be? It cannot be that way unless until you feel you are incomplete without these words. You are incomplete without seeing these kind of scenes around you. Right? Till the time you are thirsty, it is just not possible. Vitrishna. And there are only two senses, primarily two senses you need to work on. Right? Right or not? You need to work on hearing and vision. These are the two senses you need to work on. Blessed are those who can't listen. Blessed are those who can't see. You may be thinking that way, but they are challenged also. Yes or no? Everything comes with its pluses and minuses. Yes or no? You say, if these are the two problems, I'll become Surdas. I'll voluntarily become blind. I'll destroy my eardrums. I'll not listen. Will it solve? It is not going to solve. Why? Because the tendencies are still unresolved. From today you go blind, no problems. All those things which you are desiring are still there. It is not in the scene. It is in your desire. It is in your thirst. You see, today you are worried, you are being disturbed by somebody's demeanor, and look back, go a few years back, you even didn't know that person. He was nobody. He was not at all existing in your life. And suddenly that person's demeanor has become so much for you. What has changed? Nothing. Only that you have created a place for that person in your life. And you have started desiring some certain kind of expressions from him. Nothing has changed. That person was never part of your life. You chose that person. You made that person your part of your life by way of a job, by way of a relationship, by way of a friendship or whatnot, or by way of enmity. Now, this choice you made, and afterwards you further started desiring that such a such person should look like this, should behave like this, should talk like this. Is it not the whole problem in our life? This is the whole problem in our life. We want to see people in certain ways. We want to hear people say things in particular way. And once you have started doing it, that means Vitrishna means you are accepting everything. Accepting everything means we are open to everything which is happening around. You're not closing your eyes. You're not shutting your ears. Okay? But you know that you're fully aware that I don't need it. I don't need it. I'm full. Enough. This is liberation. This is liberation for you. For Patanjali, it is just a Vairagya. This is just the beginning. This Vairagya has to be practiced with respect. So each time a person says something unpleasant to you, and you remember, yeah, in my discourse, I got this knowledge. This knowledge was that I should not be thirsty of kind words. I should not be thirsty of seeing and enjoying happy and positive and so-called caring demeanors. No, I'm not thirsty anymore. Right? Then you are following the earlier sutra. You are giving satkara. You are giving respect to this learning. Because if this definition of Vairagya you have already learned, and when the situation comes, you don't welcome this learning, it is foolish. It is definitely idiotic. And it is going to create suffering only. So what should be the mantra? What should be the mantra? How does it matter? क्या फर्क पड़ता? Did you not get that? You have worked on it. Did I not give that mantra in Shiva Sutra? I did. How does it matter? How does it matter? Not because I am treating you like a someone who is not capable, mean. It doesn't matter. You're such a small thing. You're such a what you can say. Uh, there is a word in Hindi which is called tuch. No, I still respect whatever you are, but now I do not require. I'm not thirsty of your particular words, thirsty of particular demeanors. I'll still deal with you the way I was dealing earlier. And I can tell you, you can't live your life in the same way as you're living now. The moment you change this, you will start manifesting more joy in your life, more positivity in your life, and probably many of your problems will get resolved by their own. Why? Because you are no more creating a problem for others. You are no more shaking people around and you're holding them by collar and shaking them. Please be like this. Please speak like this. I feel hurt. I need it. I need it. So don't be a beggar. Don't be a beggar. I'm not saying be charitable. Patanjali is not saying talk sweet words. Patanjali will tell the truth. That's the bigger problem. You see, if you really don't like a person in that moment, you must say, I don't like this particular act. True. But in the same way, you should speak every truth. Yes or no? Not that only bitter truths. Is it not? Because no person in this world is 100% bad or 100% good. So there would be many, many things you would be liking about that person. Those truths should also come out. It's not that I'll speak the truth which is uncomfortable to me and will make you uncomfortable. Right? I'll speak the truth which I am comfortable about, I love, I experience, and probably that will encourage you, boost your ego, pamper you. Will show that I respect your being that way. Yes or no? So, roughly speaking, what you should say practically, not going by Patanjali Sutras, here I would recommend that whether people behave in a particular positive, negative way, whatever way they behave, you continue to deal with them while fully exploring what is good in them and then telling them what is good in them, instead telling what is bad in them. By this, you will create a receptivity in them. After you have, and don't think that they will take advantage of being good, and they may take, if they continue to take advantage of your saying that they are good in certain areas, and whenever you point out any finger towards any area of improvement, then you should know whether to stay here or not. Today, you can't take that decision because you also recognize you are also at fault. Many, many things you are exaggerating. Many, many times you are obsessed with a particular thing, and therefore you are not honest. Honest. If your honesty would have been there, things can be sorted out, right? So Vairagya simply means this, that I do not need others to make me happy. They need not present in my way to make me happy. They should not say things of my liking to make me happy because I'm already happy. Okay? Unless you declare it to yourself that I'm happy. I'm happy. Are you not happy with yourself? If you can't be happy with yourself, you can never be happy. Let me tell you. Are you happy with yourself? Yes, I'm happy with myself. So be happy. Occasionally you interact with others. Then this happiness should be able to deal with the little unhappiness which comes through those interactions. Are you happy with yourself? Yes, I'm happy. Then be happy. When you're alone, you should be happiest probably because you're happy with yourself. Yes or no? This state of being happy, being content, being satiated in your being will create that next state with Krishna. So if I am happy with myself, if others add to it, good. If they don't, good, because I am happy. You see, you got my point. If others add to this, good. If they don't, I'll not be angry because I'm happy. This is the problem. This is the problem. What we think is continuously, I'm not happy because, I'm not happy because. The moment you say because, you're pointing your fingers to something else other than you. That because cannot be here. And the day your because comes this side, now, it won't take much of time to correct it. Are you right or not? I'm not happy because so many arguments happen at my place. Well, rather, you must say, I'm unhappy, I'm sad because I participate in arguments. Arguments require two. A quarrel require two. If quarrel and arguments are happening, it means you are equally participating. So the moment your finger turns this side, if it goes that side, it's a problem. You can't do anything about it. All your life you have been trying that. But the moment it turns inward, here, how I can change it? So how I can change it, what I can change is important rather than pointing fingers to others. If there is an argumentative situation in the anywhere, I mean in your office, the best way is to keep quiet. Keep quiet and be happy because you're happy with yourself. You see, if you kept quiet, aren't you happy about it? You should be happy and then be happy about being quiet rather than thinking, "मैं तो चुप भी हूँ, I'm quiet also." Then the person is further not stopping. If you are taking joy in your being quiet, then that joy should give you that much resilience to hear what is being said. But the problem is, when you say, I have become quiet, you take a higher moral ground, holier than thou. You start comparing. If I can be quiet, why can't the other person be quiet? Now, with your being quiet, you're not happy. Again, you have become quiet, but you have not happy being quiet, and that is why you still want others to be quiet. Means again, you're not satiated with your quietness. You still demand and desire either a quietening of the other words or modulation of the other words. They should come in such and such way. Again, the same rule. You see. So creating a right kind of what we say background is needed. This background we start in our Tattva Shakti Vigyan Tantra practices. We start with this mantra called Shivoham. Shivoham is not a greeting, by the way. Shivoham, which means what? I'm okay, I'm full, I'm complete, I'm peaceful, I'm calm. This is Shivoham. If you don't mean it, don't say it. Just like that, Shivoham, Acharya ji, what? Acharya ji, Shivoham. Congratulations, you are Shiva. I'm not. Shivoham. Shivoham for you. One Shivoham for you. It is never for others. Shivoham is always for self. Right? Right? So the sutra is very simple. Patanjali doesn't talk a very, very complicated philosophy, very practical philosophy. And the practical philosophy here in this sutra is what? I don't need anybody's words and images to make me happy. Over and out. Over and out. Decide from today, words will change. Your expressions will change. Your words will change, your expression will change, your life will change. Internally, you should become completely rooted in this understanding that I'm happy the way I am. I don't need anybody else to make me happy. Correct? There are different levels of our existence, right? There are few bodily requirements. They are different. They can be dealt with. They can be dealt with. Any hunger and thirst at a body level can be satiated by this way or that way. Let me tell you. But if there is a thirst in your heart, which has seeped in through your mind, it cannot be satiated. This is the problem. Don't create a thirst-oriented personality. Okay? Body will always remain thirsty, let me tell you. It is nature of body. Body will be hungry, body will be thirsty, body will require comfort, maybe body will require pleasure. That is okay. But you should not become thirsty forever, identifying with the body that this is what I am. I'm continuous thirst in expression. No, you're not. That is what Patanjali says. Vitrishna. When Trishna is being talked about, Trishna is, of course, of your senses. Two senses he is talking. Two senses, primarily which you use to engage in this world, and most of the problems are created by that. Most of the disturbances are created by that. Most of the vrittis are created by that. Are the two. Seen, the form, heard, the words. Clear? Is it clear? You got my point? Is it simple? Is it doable? Can it be done? Are you happy? Huh? Nobody says. All are smiling, but nobody says I'm happy. If I say I'm happy, I'll be trapped, because next time when I say I'm unhappy, I'll catch. But you said you're happy. Huh? Right? Please look at that. How you are fooling yourself. Nobody can cheat you more than you do yourself, right? Don't cheat yourself. Don't cheat yourself. Say I'm happy and immediately adopt that position. Don't cheat yourself. What makes you unhappy? Then list out things. If others are making you unhappy, I can guarantee you that they will continue to do so. They will not change. If the world is making you unhappy, I guarantee you, I give you blessing that may they not change. Because if you somehow succeed in one or two endeavors of making others change somewhat, then it will become your mantra that change others, then it will lead to my happiness. So my blessings are with you. Let nobody around you change. May nobody around you change. Then only you have one last resort where I need to change. And anybody who's claiming to be spiritual and is still thinking others should change is the fool of highest order. Forget about being spiritual. He's not even fit to live in this world as a normal, ordinary, transacting human being. Understand? So, be very clear and bless yourself each day in the morning, like I have given you blessings. Bless yourself. Let nobody change. Ma, mother, Nobody should change. Then what? If anybody has to change, please bless me so that I can change. This should be our prayer. Because mother will not have too many things to do. She has only one object, one person. It can be changed easily. But since you ask the mother, the 7 billion people should change. Mother says, okay, I'll see when it is to be done. Huh? Got it or not? So your prayer should be what? From today onwards, if you are able to take Patanjali the way he is saying, good. You say, I'm okay, I don't need anybody to change, and I don't need to hear anything in particular to make me happy because I'm already happy. And if you are not happy, by the way, then pray in front of Lord, pray in front of Mother Divine, that Mother, just ignite that happiness. I don't need anything else. Yes or no? Because happiness is an inner experience. It doesn't depend on what is happening outside. See, if that much grace comes to you from Mother, that she ignites this little germ of happiness in you, then it will become a tree. It will become a Vatvriksha. That germination of happiness should happen. That joy should come. And if it comes from Mother Divine, of course, it is going to be what you call exactly having all the qualities of the mother only, right? It cannot be destroyed. Indestructible seed will be given by her, no? Yes or no? This is what you should learn. It is not about asking mother, do this, do that, do this, do that, change that person, change that person, change that person. Forget it. Ask mother, change me. Anything in this world should be self-centric. Any prayer should be self-centric. The moment you move beyond this boundary, I can tell you, you are just loading the deity or the god or goddess or your object of worship with so much clutter, which you have created by your own desire, not being living in vairagya. Right? So after you have started living in this vairagya and still you feel the germ of happiness has not come, the germination is not coming, pray for it, it will come. Don't worry. It won't take much of time. I can guarantee in the first attempt itself, it will come. Mother, everything is fine. I'm not feeling happy. Just make me feel happy. It begins. Right? But don't ask anything else other than that. This is real beginning. If you become happy, then Patanjali is later going to define what is asana. He'll say, Sthiram Sukham Asanam. Sthira Sukham Asanam. That means stability of that joy, inner joy, is asana in yoga. Don't think that if I can be seated for 1,000 hours in one posture, it is asana. No, it is not. It's sthira sukham asana. Sthir means stable. Sukham means joy. Asana. Understood? Stability of inner joy is asana. So the sooner you attain that, easier will be yoga. And sukham or inner joy, if it is dependent on drishyanushravika, then it is a problem. It is never going to be fulfilled. It will never be in a stable state of joy. You see. Understand? You may still have joys and moments of joys, right? But it will be loaded with both. Roller coaster. It cannot be stabilized. So living intelligently as per these sutras is the way. Understood? Is the way. Not that we learn it and we leave it. Huh? Just a minute. Okay. So I'm open for questions for 5 minutes, then I'll leave. Any questions?
Acharya ji, one question.
Please ask.
Wanted to understand what means Vashikar Sangya.
Vashikar means control.
Control.
Control. Vashikara Sangya means control. Having control on these two senses, the desires therein, having control.
Got it.
Means I don't desire through my eyes. I don't desire through my ears. Vashikara Sangya. You have to take control. Understand? This is Vashikara Sangya. The desire through eyes and desire through ears. Okay? Just drop these two desires. Desire the food, nobody is going to object, I'm telling you. You know? And desire for sex, nobody is going to object for you, that too, I'll tell you. But if you desire for these things, change the demeanor, change the words, problem. Look at it. Patanjali is right when he's saying, desire for good perfumes, nobody is going to object. The objection is here. Desire of language. The word should be spoken like that. Desire of the, the kind of demeanor somebody is placing in front of. This is not going to be met. So much disappointment is going to come. Understood? Right? So this is Vashikara Sangya. Of course, Patanjali is not going to allow that what I'm talking, but yeah, because Patanjali is going to give everywhere you need to control Vashikara Sangya. But this is the beginning. This is the beginning. And again, this is the beginning and this is the most tough. Patanjali is not one of the masters who gives easy method first. He is not going to do that. You see, earlier also he said Abhyas Vairagya. Abhyas Vairagya is not easy, the highest. Then again he said, mind your eyes and mind your ears, not easy. He should say, you should not eat this, you should not drink this, you should not, should be brahmacharya and all that. That is possible, you can impose upon yourself. Yes or no? The Patanjali is asking the highest first. You see, control your eyes and ears, don't desire anything, have control. Vashikara Sangya. Don't express your desires, don't become desirous of certain scenes, forms, and certain word sounds. Vitrishna. Vashikara Sangya. That's it. Right? So don't expect others to talk good about you. Be happy when they abuse you. Why not? Tell me why not. Acha, tell me why not. If somebody abuses you, why should you not be happy? Why you can't be happy? Why can't you still smile like Buddha did? You see? Somebody came, not only abusing. You see? That person spits on the face of Buddha. Right? But Buddha continues to smile. And the next day he comes, falls on the feet, completely crying, unconsolable, but Buddha continues to smile. Okay. So why can't you be happy? If your happiness is derived out of good words, of course you can't be happy. If you're happy by yourself, you can always be happy. If somebody is abusing you, you can be happy. I'm not asking you to be happy upon abusing. You see, my words. Can you be happy when somebody is abusing? Yeah, why not? I can be. If I'm happy, I will be happy. Yes or no? The bad words, so-called abusive words, they become, in some societies, I'll tell you, in some societies, in some situations, you may have also felt maybe, or may not have felt, both are okay. But I'm just giving an example. that when somebody is happy, somebody is near to you, somebody is close to you, they may use even abusive language to praise you, and you feel praise, you feel praise in that. They will say the exactly opposite, but you will still feel praise. Words don't matter. They don't matter, yes or no? Because the whole demeanor is such. You see, still, if the demeanor would have been also different, then the problem was there for you. Yes or no? So when both, if somebody is smiling, singing, joyous, and starts abusing and continues to smile, sing, and continues to abuse, that abuse is not going to affect you. Yes or no? But if somebody is using both Drishya and Shravik both, then this is a problem, bigger problem. Yes or no? So let us work on these. First of all, we should work on the words, which is the highest. Right? Drishya, Shravik. Out of these two also, work on the words. I'll not allow any word to stir my inner peace. Right? I don't allow anything to stir my peace. That's it. No words can make me happier than I am. You see, that your mantra should be, no words can make me happier than I am. Understood? This is Vitrishna, aversion. Your words can't make me happier because I'm happiest possible. And when I'm happiest possible, no words, even they are bad, demeaning, abusive, can't take my happiness away because I'm happiest. In the happiness, people forgive. Yes or no? So this is. Any other question? Quickly. Prachi, any question? No question. Everything
Yes.
learned. Everything learned. Oh, good. Okay. Seema, any question?
नो आचार्य जी.
No question. Only practice.
ओनली प्रैक्टिस. इतना सुंदर लगा आज सुन के कि बस तृप्ति हो गई.
Tuti ho gayi, chalo. You are happiest.
वेरी हैप्पी.
Okay. You be this, live by this mantra. I don't need anybody else's words to make me happier than I am. If you can live by this, I can guarantee nobody can make you ever unhappy in this life. Nobody can. This is simple thing. If you become poor, beggar, asking for things, asking favors, please do this, otherwise I'll not be happy. Do you think other people are at your service? They are at your own. They are at their own service, not at your service. Live by this principle. Total understanding should be this. But everyone lives for their own sake. You are also asking things for your own sake. Look at it. So how can you expect others to live for you? Recognize the truth and stop all this nonsense which we continue to carry on our head. This is nonsense. That somebody should say something to make me happy. I'm happy. Yeah? Okay, good. Any other question, Neeraj? No. Okay, Agdas? No question? Meditative?
No, Acharya.
Okay.
I am practicing on be happy for, I can say, more than 1 year, and still I
Okay.
am on the way.
Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And the ones who are happy, their everything is, their every demand, every desire, every need, every aspiration gets met. And even if it is not mine, they are already happy. You see.
We have a
Really?
very beautiful poem in Farsi. I am
Okay.
just meditating on this poem for a year, for 1
Okay.
year. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it says that I have a commitment to happiness, that the happiness belongs to me.
Yeah.
That's a commitment. Yeah.
Yes. I have a commitment to happiness, and happiness belongs to me.
Right.
Okay. Yes. And I will little bit addition would be that I am the source of happiness. It doesn't belong to me. I am the happiness. A little change would make it
The next step.
effortless. Yeah, it
Yeah.
will be effortless then. I am the source of happiness, therefore happiness and I is one. It doesn't belong to me. It emanates from me. It's not something which I need to seek from outside or enjoin it with my being. My being is happiness. My being is the happiness. Yes. Good. Very good
Probably it
point.
is mentioning that nobody can take the happiness from me.
Definitely, definitely. Nobody can take away the happiness from us, but only we allow.
I
and
don't
we-
let I don't let anyone to do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, definitely.
Not in a very harsh reaction, but
Definitely,
probably
we should know if
yeah.
we are getting too much troubled and we are unable to handle it, it is better to leave that place. You see, instead of trying and testing yourself, leave that place for some time, regain your strength, calm down yourself, become happy again, and then come back. Don't come back in the search of happiness again. You see, always remember this. If you follow these simple things, not Agdas, I'm talking to everybody. If you follow all that,
To keep that stillness,
yeah, that is stillness of
to
happiness.
reside,
The happiness, the joy that never recedes. That is what is our aim. Through all our endeavors in this world, what we are seeking, by the way, what are we seeking? Simple joy, happiness. And recognition is that nobody can give it. Because the moment we start demanding from others, we only get unhappiness. So why to knock the wrong doors? Right?
do not beg, right? No begging.
Correct. Charlie, thank you so much.
Acharya ji,
Yeah, Jayal ji. Bilkul. Boliye, Master ji.
Shiva, sometimes, physical illness takes the happiness away, shooting pain in the knees. So it happens. I am happy. I'm telling my mind, it does not register physical pain. At
Yeah.
that time, happiness is taken away.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah. Correct. It is possible. You see, the happiness and this pain, the pain and pleasure is different. The inner joy and this, what I'm calling is happiness here, is that inner joy of being is still felt. You see, it is still felt. And it is, you see, when I say nothing depends, nothing can take it away. At certain point in time, you will come to that state where nothing will take it away. Even this pain will not take it away. I can tell you, even that pain will not take it away. I'll give you one example from the life of Ramakrishna Paramahansa. At a point in time when the cancer developed in his throat, he was unable to eat. He was unable to swallow. He was unable to have any food. So and he had not taken food from days. And these disciples were sitting, Vivekananda and all others, and they were crying, they were shedding tears. They were all in tears. And they were begging, Thakur, why don't you swallow? We are really feeling very sad. And then he said, but do I need to eat? I can see that you people are eating and I'm happy about it. You see? This is that zenith of happiness. When you reach there, by and by you'll reach there. Ramakrishna Paramhans is amongst us. He's not avatar, by the way. Nobody. That is why I say, reading about gods, reading about the avatars, reading about Rama, Krishna, and so on and so forth, and Pagambars is not good. Why? Because they are avatars. They don't motivate us. They say, he is God, he can do it, but we are ordinary human beings. So that is why look at the life of ordinary human beings, those masters who have risen from being human to that level. And they will motivate you. That will give you strength. That yes, a human can rise to this potential. He has this potential. His consciousness can definitely rise to this level. And that means I am being human, I can reach there. That's true motivation. Okay. So yes, Masterji, true that pain is an inevitable part of this life, but suffering is definitely avoidable. Okay. Pain is definitely a part of life, but suffering can be avoided. Suffering can be avoided by fully understanding what is in this old age I am expecting. Am I expecting to run a marathon?
Yes.
What is in old age I am expecting from my body when I myself did not take care when I was young? Right? The suffering is not there. Recognition is there that this is how it is to be. Right? All right?
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's pray and then we leave. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashid Dukh Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Shivoham.
ॐ श्री गुरवे नमः।